Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. Up right in corner we got Rancor starting as the red Zerg, bottom left in corner we got Neoko starting as the blue Protoss. This is some bonus games upon request from someone who, I guess I won't spoil who. Basically I mentioned that the Hasuleauge games were casted, that they're missing games from the round of 4, that also I didn't do the round of 12, but I have everything round of 8 up. And I think I got all of the round of 3. I'm not sure. I think it might have lapped out at the end of round of 3, so round of 4, round of 5, and round of 12 did not get casted, and it's just so many games. And also, I've got a bit of a cough that hopefully doesn't pop up here, but had a request to do these games, figured I would do them. I also had a request to do some round of 12 games, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna take a break here as best I can. And I will admit, I've got a little bit of a soft spot for Rancor. I enjoy watching his games and casting his games, and it's been fun to watch him improve over time. Overlord going upper left-hand corner. Neoko, by the way, this is on Radion to start. I should also mention pylon towards the front. We do have an early probe scout going bottom right, which presumably Neoko is going to open up Forge first, which I think will work out pretty well at cross position. I feel like in cross position versus Zerg in particular, you get that extra bonus time versus Hydralist play. Rancor going for his characteristic early game aggression. He's going to open with an overpool, and I guess that's been kind of typical for Zerg, but I feel like on Radion in particular, it makes good sense to go for the 12th, just because it's such a huge map at large. Anyway, is Neoko gonna risk it? No, he's just gonna go ahead and drop the Forge upon not getting first scout. On occasion, you can go ahead and drop that. I think even against an overpool, you can go Nexus into then Cannon off Forge timing. But anyway, probes continuing their scouting pattern. Upon seeing this drone, I think Neoko going to presume that he's found his opponent, and that will in fact be the case in the upper right corner. Although, is he drawing that probe back? Not drawing that probe back. Not making any assumptions, which is pretty good. As soon as he sees that creep, he can go ahead and draw this back. Rancor seeing this probe in the upper left. That should be a signal to him once he goes bottom right that he shouldn't go top left at the very least. And Neoko, upon spotting this, should... So we got a pair of Zerglings being produced, but he should be able to get away with Nexus before cannon. It looks like he's going to drop the cannon just to be absolutely careful. Probe hanging out in the wings. Actually, with the timing of it, mineral boosting and whatnot, it might have been a little bit more dicey, but I still think it's possible. Anyway, 2 cannons. Interesting from Neoko. A little bit of an overcommitment here, honestly. He didn't see, I guess he's presuming going up against Rancor that Rancor was going to play a little bit more aggressive. Rancor did in fact build 6 Zerglings, but the 2 cannons going to heavily delay that Nexus timing, and Rancor with that should have forward position for a while, although will need to draw some Zerglings back to go ahead and aggress versus the probe there. It looks like he is drawing all the Zerglings back on this timing. Did Rancor scout bottom left? Doesn't look like he provided any additional scouting information. And did he build additional Zerglings? Is this the same 6? Looks like it's the same, yeah, same 6. And drones scattering their way back. Gas, what was that, around 3 minutes? And a kind of late third base here from Rancor. But is going to be able to push that probe out of his base, and that's going to put Neoko in a situation where he's not, oh, a nice drawback, is not going to have full information on his opponent. In the meantime, Neoko has gone ahead and plopped down his own gas. Protoss tech builds a lot more rapidly, so should be in pretty good position. We'll see what Rancor's up to in this play. I want to see if he goes Mutilus play. Neoko actually surprisingly with 1 health. That probe going to make it back to home base. I think this might be a Mutilus opener, because we do have this Overlord sitting here top left and just hanging out right this second. The probe, a fresh probe, able to get into the wings. I do have to chastise Rancor a bit from about this. Is didn't get an Overlord down here and hasn't really kept good track of the front. This could have been a Zealot out in the field with the timing of everything. Regardless, third base up, Rancor continuing to produce. Looks like he has gone Hydralisk Den, and he is investing in Hydralisk speed. So this might turn into a Hydra bus. This does tend to be sort of a reflex of Zerg when they think they've managed to annihilate scouting information and put their opponent in the dark. I don't know if Neoko got the probe. Sometimes what you can do, if you have that probe in there, you can see the mineral line, you can do the mineral trick and glitch through these Zerglings. I don't think, yeah, Neoko didn't get it there. Side note, shout out to Chippa out in Twitch land. The probes drawing back want to engage that probe. I think upon seeing the saturation, Neoko should have a heads up, and also the lighter drone count here at the third should have a heads up that it would be wise to go ahead and save minerals to go ahead and plop down some cannons on the front. Sending 2 zealots out on the map. Rancor starting to produce the Hydralisk. Hydralisk speed just about finished. The 2 zealots should be spotted mid-map. It looks like they want to go to the 3 o'clock. The one advantage of these 2 zealots out on the map is that we'll preoccupy the Hydralisks potentially. But the downside of this is if once Rancor wipes them out, there's not. It's just going to be a pure cannon defense here on the front. A preventative, tentative third cannon there dropped. Sunken Colony at the 3 o'clock location from Rancor. That surprises me. That is, but the Hydralisks have been spotted. Rancor going to lose that drone regardless, and it looks like he's drawing back. This is kind of an unusual play. Maybe he was. That's very unusual. Is he just going to go straight defensive with the Hydralisk? Usually you don't bother producing Hydralisks at all if you're going to drop the Sunken Colony at the third. I guess one problem of Radion as a map for Zerg is that third is just such a long distance away. 2 additional cannons dropped with the 5 cannons and potentially more to come, the 2 zealots on the front. I don't know if that... Well, an Overlord is going to take a hefty hit as well. That's going to... Well, is the Corsair going to die, though? Still going to hold. I think the Forge is going to drop before that is complete as long as Rancor focuses it. Rancor having some trouble controlling his units here on the front. That actually might cost him the timing because he's not focusing on the Forge first. And Neoko wanting to contest that, so moving forward, loses 1 zealot. It's going to end up losing 2 zealots, and effectively, this is to buy time to try to get that +1 weapons complete. Rancor now readjusting, having some major trouble getting the Hydralisks in position to deal with this. And finally able to get the focus down. Corsair has moved forward, provide a little bit of additional scouting. Rancor spot checking his hatchery to let him know who's boss. +1 weapons is not finished, nor was it canceled. Nor was that zealot canceled, so a little bit of lost resources here for Neoko. Corsair making its way top left might be able to find that Overlord and wipe it out. It would take a, and that should die if that gets spotted. Doesn't look like Neoko's going to find it right this second. Rancor going ahead and dropping additional gas. And Rancor can easily surge this. Either he can go back and play a little bit more defensively, or he can wait for Lurker Tech and go for a potential front door seal. In the meantime, Neoko has gone, he's got a couple idle probes, but excuse me, has otherwise kept the gateway count a little bit light. Oftentimes, there, I was about to say, usually you see a gateway surge around this timing. He's now dropping those additional gateways, is making a priority of getting some High Templar and Dark Templar out for defensive purposes. Corsair's working on that Overlord in the meantime, and Rancor only has the single Hydralisk to defend it, so that is going to be a dead Overlord. That will supply cap Rancor momentarily, and Rancor actually not doing a lot. Oh, going for a bust, that's why. As I'm not paying attention, Rancor going for it. He's not going to be able to reinforce this, keep in mind, because he is supply blocked. No Psystorm, however, so this looks like it's going to be a game ender. So no Zealots, no Dark Templar, no additional units to provide the additional defense, so Rancor actually getting the bust executed. Kind of an off-timing bust, caught me by surprise, but yeah, wipes everything out. That should be GG. I was expecting a contain, but Rancor, every aggressive player, so just diving and going for it. The Overlord going to have coverage on that Dark Templar as well, and there's GG from Neoko. So Rancor taking game 1 pretty convincingly with a Hydralisk bust kind of in an off timing. You know what? I'm going to say it's not on an off timing. If you move that 45 seconds earlier, that's kind of how Soma's been doing it recently, to basically press against the gateway flood timing, which Snow was not prepared for, and it looks like Neoko was not prepared for either. We'll see if there's something different here in game 2. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for listening.